Hey guys, I wanted to go over some questions from the CSP ebook chapter 7. One of the things they ask is for you to create a factorial function. The way I'd like to explain this is to create the parameter here and make it like a real sentence. So basically I've defined a function called factorial, and the parameter is as many numbers as you want. So we're going to have the sum equal to 1. And basically what this loop means is for numbers in as many numbers as you want, meaning for the numbers in these numbers are my choice. I can flip-flop them, switch them around, whatever I want to do. So for the number in as many numbers as you want, this is the code that's going to loop over and over again. What this is going to do is this is going to say 1 times 2. So then what it's going to do is store that. So 1 times 2 is 2. It's going to store that. And then it's going to say 2 times 3. And then it's going to store that. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then it's going to say 6 times 4. And it's going to store that. And then it's going to print the result. So let's see what happens when we print this. As you can see, it returns 24. Okay, 24 is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. Okay, let's add on another number. Let's add on a 5. Let's go ahead and run this. And it returns 120, which is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. Let's add one more. Let's add a 6. Let's go ahead and run this. And we have 720. Okay, so that's it for that one. The next one I wanted to show you. So basically, they want you to print out 1 times 1 equals 1, 2 times 2 equals 4, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, you're squaring the numbers. So what I have here is the numbers that will be squared. Remember, I like to use kind of like what is equivalent to a sentence. So the numbers that will be squared equals, they wanted you to do 1 through 10. So I put 11 here because don't forget, you always have to do one above. So the range 1 comma 11. So here's your loop. For the number in the numbers that will be squared, colon. So for the numbers in the numbers that will be squared, you have the square will equal number times number. So don't forget, number times number here is going to take into consideration, it's going to go 1 times 1, and it's going to go 2 times 2, then it's going to go 3 times 3, because the range over here, you've given it a range of 1 comma 11. Okay, now we're going to print a string concatenation here. So in order to print that, we have to make sure that these numbers are transformed into strings here. That's why we have the str and then number, and then you have your plus sign. Then you want it to look legible, so you want it to read the number times the number equals the square of that number. Okay, so watch what happens when we run this. All right, so you have 1 times 1 equals 1, 3 times 3 equals 9, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 10 times 10 equals 100. We could add another one to this. We can add another number. So I'm just going to put 12 here. And then it gives us 11 times 11 equals 121. So you can go on and just list however many numbers you want. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is actually on your CSP ebook. Okay, and what this says is fill in the code below on lines 2, 4, and 6 to correctly add up and print the sum of all the even numbers from 0 to 10 inclusive meaning they want 10 included, so we have to put it up to number 11. So this is a little tricky here. So they want you to work with line 2 first. So let's work with line 2 first. We want to set it to 0 because we want to start out with nothing, 0. Okay, then they want you to work with line 4. So this says numbers equal range. So you know something is going to have to go into this range over here. But they want you to print the sum of all the even numbers. Okay, they want you to print the sum of all the even numbers. We're going to have to fill this with some kind of numbers. So when the question asks to print the sum of all the even numbers, that's when it doesn't become just 2 numbers anymore. It becomes actually 3 numbers. So what we want to do is we want to start off by typing a 0, comma, 11, because we want to include 10, comma, and 2. So let's analyze what this means here. So 0 is your starting point. Then it's going to count by 2s. The last number in the list here means how it's going to count by 2s. So you have 0 counting by 2s, meaning even numbers, all the way up to 10 because we put 11 here. So then it asks you to look at line number 6 for number in numbers. That looks pretty good. Okay, but we have to do something with line 8 here. So we're going to put sum equals sum plus number, and then it's going to print out the sum. Let's try it out. Okay, so did it work? Obviously, yes, because 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 equals 30. Here's our answer right here. Okay, let's try some other cool things with this real quick. If the question asks you to just make a list of even numbers, all you would have to do, instead of print sum here, you would just print numbers, because your numbers are going to be your range from basically 0 to 10 in intervals of 2. So you have print numbers and then save and run, and there are your even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Can you guess how to print odd numbers, a list of odd numbers? All you would have to do is change this 0 to 1. Check it out. Now you're starting with 1 in intervals of 2. So you have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, all the way to 11. If I want to include the number 11, I would have to change this to 12. And there you go. All right, I hope that helps.